nothing better to do right now. So,
hey, welcome back to another episode of the $1 Million Body Podcast, the intersection of physical freedom, time freedom, and adventure. I'm here today with a very special guest, my friend, Jessi McAnally. We are going to be talking about her business, Moon Hypnosis. Jessi is a certified hypnotist, the founder of Moon Hypnosis. She has a pretty crazy story. Well, we met a couple of years back where we were working together a little bit on like doing some content creation. And I'm so excited to have her on the show today because not only has she gone through some of the aspects of the $1 Million Body program, had some amazing success, but she also brings a really unique way of looking at mindset and habits that transcend a lot of what I talk about in terms of even when I go into like the lifestyle and kind of the grit and pushing yourself. So Jessi, I'm so pumped you're here. This is going to be, I'm just going to say, this is going to be a top 3 episode. I'll manifest that right now.
Yeah, I'm so psyched. I'm so psyched. Yeah, I've known you a while now, huh?
Yeah, it's been a minute, and you're still here, which is, I mean, that's cool. I
know. And I've lost 60 pounds since we met, so that's a pretty big deal.
That's a huge deal. Like, are you really proud of yourself for that? Because that's incredible.
Oh, so proud. I actually, right before I got on here, I had my like morning special of 3 eggs and some vegetables. And actually, yeah, you've made food so easy for me.
We love
easy. Right out the gate, I'm just pumping you up to your audience. Much. Yeah.
By the way, side note, I did not pay her to say this, but I will be sending her money after this episode, just so everyone knows. Jessi, yeah, thank you so much. Also, amazing job. Like, obviously, like, you know, we can talk all about fitness and nutrition and stuff like that, but you still have to do the work. I can't do your push-ups for you. I cannot. You're a little far for me to even make you breakfast. So, like, amazing testament to what you've been able to put together. But like, I think what people are right now, they're like, great, 60 pounds, great, easy food. Did you say hypnotist? Like, I think that's where people got stuck.
I know.
When we bring them back. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Like, how long have you been into hypnosis? Like, how did you get certified as a hypnotist? Like, is that like what I saw in Vegas at like a show? Like, tell me more. Break it down for me. Explain it.
To answer your question about like seeing it at a show in Vegas. Yeah, absolutely. So hypnosis is just putting the mind in a suggestible state. So whether that's on stage or in an office or actually on the street. So it's just putting somebody into a suggestible state. Your mic okay over there? Sure. And putting the ideas for change. So anytime you've listened to like a guided meditation, that's kind of a form of hypnosis, but also anytime you're driving down the road and you get lost in thoughts and suddenly you show up in your driveway and you're like, how the hell did I get here? That's also the same state of mind. So you're doing it all the time. That's what I'm saying.
Got it. So kind of when you're in that, like that, just that flow state, you're just kind of moving through it. I was there last night. I was driving and I was like, was that light green? I have no memory of if that light was green.
That's it. That's right. Yeah.
Okay. So you help people find that state where they are a little bit more suggestible, open to like either suggestions from an external source or from like an app, a recording, or themselves, and then help utilize that and kind of create some power there to create more change than they would get from trying to like white knuckle or utilize motivation, willpower to just grit through something.
Yeah. So think of it as like, I had a weight loss client recently, and one of her things was eating little wafer cookies. Like she would eat 15 of them. So like in one sitting, just like loved them. And so the work that we did was going from that mindless overeating to bringing that awareness to the eating. So by planting the suggestion that every time she would eat one, she would fully experience like all the pleasure of having just a couple of them, and then feel satisfied when she actually felt satisfied, and starting to bring that awareness and paying attention to what's going on instead of just the mindlessness of it. Kind of like smoking cigarettes. It's mindless for most people, and it brings that awareness to it. So, yeah.
Okay. And so can you tell us a little bit about like how did you get into this, or like where was your beginnings? Because I feel like you have a crazy story. If you wouldn't mind sharing a little bit about like your personal journey through, I know you already mentioned losing 60 pounds, but I know like if you, I mean, looking at your website, looking at your bio, you have a wild roller coaster of a story.
Yeah. I mean, So about 5 years ago or so. Okay, so I used to do transcripts and like writing podcast descriptions, which is how I met you. And I was working for this hypnotist who works with poker players and UFC fighters. And I thought it was it intrigued me. So I started working for him and just saw the incredible, amazing changes, transformations from like, really good poker players who had gambling problems or anger issues to having much more self-control, much more mindset focus so that they could, get the results that they wanted at the table or in the fighting ring. And just kind of over time, I got really interested in what the hell it was all about and used it myself. I actually hired a hypnotist to help me quit cocaine, lose weight. Oh, what else? Just change how I felt about myself, really. And that's kind of what it's all about, right? Like, you can lose weight, but if you still don't like the way you look in the mirror, you don't feel good about yourself, don't feel good about the decisions you're making, then it doesn't really matter too much. But so I hired her for that and got great results. And so I decided I kind of liked it. Plus, I got the voice for it. And maybe I could do a little sample for you later.
I would like that. I was going to say, like, you should be doing this podcast, not me, because your voice is just way better than mine. So yeah. So I guess at the end, what I'm asking is, do you want to take over the $1 Million Body podcast as soon as this episode's finished?
Yeah, right. I'll do it from now on, right?
Yeah. Perfect. Easy. So that's incredible. And I want to go back to what you just said about changing who you believe you are and kind of changing your identity and how you feel about yourself, rather than necessarily like being like, okay, I wake up in the morning and I'm gonna add a green juice in, So like I feel like taking away some of those like negative identity things can be more positive than like trying to add in a run or add in a green juice or something like that. So can you explain a little bit like what that shift was like for you from being like, hey, I like, because I think that like, overeating, drug use, whatever else, it can be as symptoms of how we feel about ourselves.
That's right.
How did that shift? What did that look like in your life?
In my life, so I was in a pretty going nowhere relationship. Frankly, we were doing cocaine, we were drinking a lot. And one day I just realized like that I don't want this life for myself. So what changed was on an identity level, I realized like, wait, this isn't what life has to be about. I can enjoy myself. I can make changes over time. And I started to be able to see like the path forward into where I wanted to be from where I was. Because, when you look at everything you want out of life, it's too overwhelming to be like, oh, I want this and this and this and this. I want to lose all this weight and I want to, get clean, or I want to I want to do the marathon, like you can't take it all on at once. You have to break it down into those chunks. So for me, it was switching to what one thing can I focus on right now? What one thing can I change this week that's going to have the greatest impact over the next month or 3 months? And by focusing on just one thing, which is kind of what I do with clients as well, like what's one thing that was going to have huge impact on you today for this week? And you see those changes stack over time, right? Like, and then you look back, like recently, I just look back on my journey for losing weight, particularly getting, not just losing weight, but like getting fit and strong and healthy. And I realized, wow, I've come a long way, but you don't see it day to day. You don't see it in the moment. You see it when you stop and go, hey, wait a minute, actually, look at that graph. It's gone all the way down. I can lift up this stuff I couldn't lift before. I feel strong in my body. Wow, I feel great in this dress, that kind of thing. It doesn't happen. You don't see it necessarily all along the way. You have to look back at it.
And I really like that, like how that doing that one thing a little bit better each week can lead itself to having a little bit more of a long-term perspective. And I think, I don't know if you'd agree with me or not, but I feel like one of the problems, especially around health and fitness, is that we spend 5 years, 10 years getting like out of shape, gaining weight, but we want to get out, like we want to reverse that process in 2 weeks. We want to reverse that process in 3 months. And we don't have the idea of like, what can we do in 3 years versus like, we always overestimate what we can do in 3 months and underestimate what we can do in 3 years. So like because when you're starting to focus now on like, what's the one thing, did that come from like putting yourself in a suggestive state and like talking through those things? Or is it more of like a base layer of like, hey, I'm able to change one thing. I'm like worthy of changing one thing. I like, how did that, what is the hypnosis aspect? Cause I know like, you're not gonna hypnotize yourself and be like, Jessi, you need to eat more salads. Like, I feel like that's like a tactical top end thing.
Yeah.
Like tell me a little bit more about like, what are some of those things that you actually would like talk through or like kind of give yourself suggestions on, or your hypnotist when you're working with them to help you start changing your identity around this and giving yourself that long-term perspective?
Yeah. So let me think about how to answer this question.
I gave you a lot of words there. So yeah, just kind of take it,
Yeah.
take it the direction you want to go.
So oftentimes people have that, there's willpower. Obviously, there's that thing called self-control. It's a thing that needs to be practiced, though. It's not, you can't go from having zero self-control to suddenly having all the self-control and discipline and everything in the world. It doesn't really, that's setting yourself up for failure, right? And you can change overnight. That does happen. But more often, it's an idea that gets stuck in your head. So where you had the idea before of, all I do is just overeat. Every time I'm stressed out, I go to the cabinet and pull out those cookies and eat them. Instead, what hypnosis does is it puts something in between you and that thing that you would have done unconsciously.
Almost adds a layer of friction.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So I guess, for example, for somebody who is I'll give you an example of somebody a couple weeks ago. He was saying that he was working from home, and instead of going outside and using his little disc golf putt to like get some fresh air and stuff, he would go left, going down the stairs, go left and go to the cabinet and pull out a snack. And so the suggestion was, next time you go downstairs, instead of going left, it's easy and obvious to want to go outside and go right because there's fresh air and the weather's beautiful. And, like you start to make it more appealing to go the other direction and see, instead of making it that, oh, I should do that, I need to do that, it becomes, I want to do that thing.
So getting out of a place of, my buddy Alex calls it crude creation, which I thought was really interesting. He's like getting out of like the ideas of like shoulds and musts and have to, and get into the place of like this like edifies me, this lights me up, this makes me feel good. And so now he calls it solar powered or soul or powered creation, which I think is interesting. But like, so getting away from like the acting out of obligation and sort of getting into acting in integrity and alignment with your core values and like who you believe you are or should be.
Right. And also there's a few words you can totally let go of from your vocabulary. Let's
hear them right here. Let's go.
Should.
Yep.
Have to.
Yep.
Even we all have to go to, the Department of Motor Vehicles and get our driver's licenses. However, you could look at it as, I really want to go get my driver's license and sit in the DMV today because I'm excited about going on that road trip in 2 months. So of course it's easy for me to want to go sit there because instead of like sitting there pouting about it being busy and it taking a long time, you could sit there and daydream about the road trip you're going to take. It's the difference in perspective on it, for sure. You can get rid of the word should, need to, have to, all those obligation words.
I've heard them called weasel words before. I like that.
Weasel words. I like that. Also, get rid of the word. Yes. Yes. And also the implication is you need to, but you're not doing it. So changing your language around it is super important. Also, get rid of the word hope. Oh, I hope I can lose 20 pounds. I hope I can run. Try is the other one. Yeah, trying also implicates failure, right? You can try to lose weight. I've tried everything to lose weight, which means that you didn't actually lose the weight, right? So what's going to help you to actually get there? It's not going to be by trying. It's going to be by doing something, taking some kind of actions, not to get all Yoda, but
do it or not. There is no try.
There's some wisdom there. There is some deep wisdom from Star Wars.
He's like 1,000 years old. He's got, hopefully he picks some up over
Yeah,
time.
right. Yeah.
So I like that. So basically like changing, like kind of at our base layer, changing our self-talk is a huge part of this. So it's not necessarily
Huge.
like waving a watch in front of our faces and being like, you
Although it
love
can
eating
be.
carrots, but it's changing how like how we almost self-hypnotize and
That's
drawing
correct.
recognition to those times when our self-talk, like just like when you're driving and you're like, how did I get home? Why am I even at school? Like it's on a Saturday. Changing like those patterns that just exist in our subconscious, drawing awareness to them and then changing them to reflect who we're becoming, not who we've kind of been stuck as.
That's exactly
would
right.
you agree?
That's exactly right. And then, you know, in a hypnosis session, we do that by relaxing the conscious thinking part of the brain. We get you into kind of a daydream state to where you're sort of in between super conscious and your mind might be wandering off and coming back and just bringing awareness to where you are.
How do you do that? Like, I'm really curious. I'm sure a lot of people listening are really curious, but like, how do you do that when you come into you don't have to give away like the magic power behind what you do, but like, how do you do that when you come into a session? How do you get people to like relax, or how can we do that to ourselves?
We shift our awareness. So I shift people's awareness from how they feel to what they're hearing, to what they're seeing. And by doing so, getting very fascinated with one thing, with shifting that fascination around to different things. And then you start to realize, oh, this is what I'm doing all the time. And you start to bring that awareness from here, you know, from what's happening here, where you were, to where you want to be. And it's a gradual process of doing that over the course of like, say, an hour or something.
How many sessions does it take to see like noticeable results?
Oftentimes it takes one to get the change happening, and then follow-up sessions to sort of get all the loose ends and tackle any. So like, you know, a quit smoking client usually stops smoking in that first session. And then there's follow-up sessions to just sort of reinforce that new lifestyle.
So what I'm hearing from you right now is that like, if someone is in the midst of like reinventing or changing a habit or changing their identity, whether that's fitness or business or relationships or drugs or smoking or like a bad habit, not only is it good to use some of the tactical stuff, jump into the $1 Million Body program, get in a community, go to AA, but it can be amazing to have like to work with you or a hypnotist on the back end to help really change the undercurrents
That's right.
of their perception.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, you can have that step-by-step program, but if your beliefs aren't on board, if your mindset is telling you you can't do it, it's going to be really hard for you to stick to that plan. It's going to be really hard. And
we always act in alignment with who we are, right? And if you don't believe you're a healthy person, maybe you can white knuckle through a couple months of tilapia and asparagus, but after a while, you're going to be like, I'm not healthy. I need to get back to eating normal, which is pizza, right?
Right. And like for me, when I lost weight, got fit, the biggest change for me was, oh, this is just who I am now. I eat for the body I want. I eat for the fitness that I want. This is going to support me getting there, even though I'm not there yet, even though I still have, you know, that 6 months ago or whatever, I still have like 20 pounds I want to lose. What I'm doing right now is for the body that I want. And so I kept that in mind the whole time, and every day tracking progress, like writing down in my journal every day what the number on the scale was, not to punish myself, but to get information. Because that information is like, it makes all the difference, especially when you're trying to meet a goal.
And what gets measured gets managed, right? You keep it top of mind, and you're
and then I could see
in alignment.
And then I could see how, you know, having that muffin or that cheese Danish had an effect on my water retention, and my weight either stayed the same or went up a little bit. And just as easily though, I could be like, oh, I see what's going on. And it made it so obvious and easy to let go of those foods that were not getting me where I want to go. And then it just became easy over. I mean, it didn't really take that long. You just have to realize that this is your new way. This is what you want, is to eat for the life, the body, the job, the whatever, the energy levels that you really want, over the comfort. And then it just kind of becomes easy. And then
Interesting.
actually it's more comfortable to eat well.
Yeah, because
Honestly.
you're again acting in alignment with like who you are and what your identity is. And so it'd be out of alignment for you to eat chocolate cheesecake for 4 meals a day,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So
and still you can enjoy those things, but it becomes like, you know, like
but now you're a fit person who enjoys the occasional indulgence, not someone who's consistently indulging, wishing they were a fit person.
Yeah. And don't you want to get rid of all that guilt and shame about it anyway? Like,
Heck yeah.
I can go have a piece of cheesecake now and I enjoy the hell out of that piece of cheesecake. Like,
yes.
Oh, that was awesome. And then be fine, like not having cheesecake again for a month or 2 months, or I don't know. I don't remember last time I had a piece of cheesecake. Now that I'm thinking about it, maybe I'll have one this weekend. I don't know.
I had one last week and it was delightful. But I also did something where I had half of it and I was like, that's good. I'll have the other half in a day or two.
Oh, and then it's there and it's like that that little treat reward instead of like over until anyway. Yeah, it's just total mindset shift and identity shift.
And now, Jessi, you got like, I know we were talking a little bit before the call about kind of like ways people can connect with you. You have an amazing email list. Jessi's a fantastic writer. If you've read any of my podcasts in the last year or two, a lot of those were coming from Jessi. So if you liked that, great. If you didn't like that, well, sorry. But so get on Jessi's email list. Her emails are fantastic. And then Jessi also offered the people who are listening to the $1 Million Body podcast, who are in the MDB Project Facebook community, if you guys wanted to jump on just a quick 20-minute call with her to talk a little bit more about kind of what you have been working on specifically, she's going to offer that for free to our community. So please, if you are in the process of making some changes in your life, take advantage of that offer. You want to make sure you do this before her schedule gets all booked up. Jessi, I'd love to hear a little bit about kind of like, what's that blend look like for you of like the tactics, right? $1 Million Body is tactical, right? It's eat this, change this, tweak this. Here's the knob to twist. Here's the lever to pull for your body. And then what you do, Moon Hypnosis, that's a little bit more like baseline, a little bit more like mental, a little bit more mindset pieces. Can you tell us a little bit about how those two feed into each other and like how you found to be the best possible blend of both worlds?
Sure. So with the tactical stuff like you do, that's all conscious work. That's you writing stuff out, planning. It's very left brain logical, which is great. You need that. It helps you to keep everything organized and keep everything on track for what you want your goals to be. And the hypnosis work or the mindset work or whatever you want to call it. Hypnosis is this like mystical, magical word I love it, but it's really mindset work, right? And so where you have that left brain tactical stuff, you've got the right brain and like the subconscious, like more metaphorical or bigger ideas and visualization, things like that. So it becomes, you're wiring the brain for that logical, tactical success. So that instead of telling yourself you can't do it, you're telling yourself all the ways you can. Instead of, oh, I don't know if I can, lose the weight I want to lose or get as fit as I want to get fit, being able to see yourself with that body that you want. So it does the underlying work of the tactical left brain work.
Yeah, I love that.
So say,
okay, follow-up question on that then. So like, let's say someone, like a lot of people that I work with are basically people who want to lose between like, kind of like 30 to 60 pounds, 40 pounds, kind of the sweet spot of, I feel like I really help people out with. Someone comes in and they're like, hey, Nate, Jessi, help me lose 40 pounds. I go, Jessi, what should they do first? How would you set up a very like proper system if you without any limitations at all? What would you have someone do in an ideal world if they're like, losing this weight is important to me. It's the most important thing for 2022. I need to get this off and I want to live the rest of my life super healthy.
Yeah.
What do you do next?
Okay. So say they came to you first and they're like part of your program. They've got the tactical stuff. They could come to me and say, hey, this is my goal. And I would have a conversation with them about it and kind of figure out where their little blocks or their mental hangups are, or their emotional hangups usually. And then I would set them up with a program. Usually it's like an intensive 3 or 4 sessions every week over a month, and then checkup sessions over a longer period of time, like once a month or once every 2 weeks or something like
And
that.
then
It depends on
how
the
does
client.
like the tactical, like the nutrition and starting to move your body more, where does that fit in with regard to the mindset pieces?
Sure. So say they have
Outline my
that.
first month for me. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Okay. So you have, let's say you have a plan, like you've got that mapped out plan. And some people aren't even good at that, and that's fine. It is customized to the person and where they're at. But so the typical person, hey, Nate, I want to lose 40 pounds and I don't know what to eat. Can you help me with that? I don't know how to. And you set them up with, this is what you do day over day. This is what you do. If they came to me, they could show me that plan. We could talk about their goals. Oh, hey, you want to lose 40 pounds. And the first session would be just kind of making all of it possible. Some people have difficulty just believing in themselves that they can do it. Other people just want to have the motivation to continue to do it, that kind of thing. It really is customized, but basically we'd get them visualizing where it is they want to be on that first session. And then over the following subsequent sessions, troubleshooting, working on the little bits and details where they've gotten hung up, where they've run into issues or plateaued, things like that. And then just keep breaking them free from those stuck states.
So if someone comes to you and is like, hey, like I want to do some stuff, I'm not totally sure where to start, that's not quite as like effective or gives you like enough to go off of as like if someone's like, hey, here's what I want to do, but I have a ton of anxiety around this. I don't exactly believe I can do it. I'm lacking some of like the motivation to do it. So coming to you with like, here's my goal. I see the path. Now please help me walk it. That sounds like a perfect client for you. Is that correct?
That's right. Yeah. But most people have trouble. Now, keep in mind, most people have trouble even getting there, which is totally understandable.
Yeah. You have to have some self-awareness and like kind of done some work already to have that information.
The best clients I have are the ones who are like 10 out of 10. I really need to make a change. I'm not sure how to get there. I need help.
So more important is just to be willing, to be coachable, to be teachable, and show up with teachable. Like, yeah.
The best success I have with people in hypnosis session is you just have to follow instructions. If I tell you to think about something, think about it. If I tell you to imagine it, imagine it. If I tell you to take a deep breath and relax down, that's all you got to do. And so by following a series of instructions, you start to realize your own power over your habits, actions, reactions, behaviors. So
interesting how the process of like submitting can help you uncover and realize your own personal power and potential.
It's crazy, right? Yeah. So by giving up that little bit of control and it's really just letting somebody else lead you. And by giving up that little bit of control, you're learning how to take back control of those things that felt out of control before. So that unconscious eating, that I wake up in the morning, I don't want to exercise, like all of that changes because you just find it within yourself, find those resources within yourself just by giving up a little bit of control for a little while and following instructions. Yeah.
I love that because I think a lot of us deal with like, we want to be in control and it gives us this anxiety, this crushing weight. Like I have so many people who are always like, my neck is bothering me, my shoulders are bothering me. And I always think like, first thing I think of is like, oh, are you tweaking yourself? Like, is your thoracic spine all messed up? And the second thing is, do you feel like you have the weight of the world on your shoulders? Like a lot of times that'll manifest in your shoulders and traps.
Yep.
So when these high performers, type A people who come to me all the time are telling me about their anxiety issues, it feels like grasping for control in a world that might not be kind of within the bounds of their ability to control it.
That's right. Yep. And the body holds tension. So wherever you feel, I mean, obviously the body holds tension. The body holds emotional tension. Those places where we resist being in flow. So like you said, the traps, carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders, or, even like the muscles around your face, decision making, or being super hyper focused that you can't see the world around you, that kind of thing. It all manifests in the body. And that's, you know, you can get all woo woo about it, or it's just as simple as that's like the emotions we express are through the muscles of our body. And that's why we have those metaphorical phrases like the weight of the world on my shoulders. It's because we have some kind of awareness of it collectively, if that's what's going on. So
yeah, I like,
yeah.
we could get all into collective awareness and Carl Jung and archetypes and stuff like that. But maybe we have to save that for another episode. Guys, if you are watching this live in the $1 Million Body group or watching this a little bit later, I just dropped into the thread Jessi's anxiety relief kit. So check that out. It's on her website. It's free. If you were just listening to the podcast, you can grab that by going to n8trainingsystems.com/group. We'll get you there. You'll jump right in and have access to all of her stuff right here. Jessi, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to kind of come on and chat with us. Where can people find out more about you? Where can they connect with you on the internet, social media?
Yeah.
How do we get more Jessi in our lives?
Yeah, you know, I'm on Facebook. You can add me as your friend. That's cool. Jessi McAnally. And you'll see my name on the, I guess, wherever you're seeing this, watching this, listening to this. Or I have moonhypnosis.com. That's MOON, like, you know, the moon, big moon in the sky. And
is there another way of spelling moon? Is like, do some people spell it MUNE? M with an umlaut? Moon?
Ooh, I like that, actually.
It's cute and it's fun. I don't feel like anyone would be able to find you on Google.
No, they wouldn't.
Moon?
Moon?
Moon. We're going to go look at the moon over the fjords.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry to derail. You keep going.
I'm also on Facebook and Instagram. And it's Moon Hypnosis Ipsy, which is where I live, Ypsilanti. I'm going to spell that. YPSI. So Moon Hypnosis YPSI. I know. I'm just going to have to post the link.
Those aren't words. Those aren't letters that should be combined. Show me another word in the English language that has YP next to each other.
I know.
I'll sit here right now and wait.
No, it's Greek. It's Greek. It's definitely Greek to me. That was bad. That was a really bad joke.
Jessi, anything you want to leave us with? Anything that you're like, hey, I think that everybody should know this thing, whether it's about hypnosis, whether it's about you, whether it's about, you know, your first car, like whatever, anything you want to get off your chest right now? It's your soapbox.
One of my deep, dark secrets.
Yes. It is.
No, y'all, like, even just listening to this, let it inspire you to let go of words that aren't serving you. Like, that is the one takeaway. Get rid of the word try, get rid of the word should, anything that obligates you and you have that resistance. Find a better way. And I don't want to even tell you how, because your mind can chew on that and figure it out for you. This is the hypnosis part, right? And but bring that conscious awareness or unconscious awareness to when you use the words like that. And anytime you notice it, let it be from now on that you have an awareness of it. There's no unseeing it once you see it. So yeah, let go of the word try and just do, as Yoda says.
Love it. Jessi, thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to chat with us on the podcast. This has been incredible. If you guys wanted to get more of Jessi, I'm gonna have all of her links for social media, for Facebook. Her anxiety relief kit is in the Facebook group, and I'm gonna have a way for you can get on Jessi's schedule. I think she's probably only gonna be able to take the first 5-10 people. So make sure you sign up really quickly to get a free session with her, or free 20-minute discovery call or something. So check all that out in the show notes. But other than that, you guys, thank you so much for joining us today. Hope this has been powerful and impactful for you. And like she said, do or do not, there is no try. That's a direct quote attributed to my friend Jessi, and no one else has ever said that I'm aware of. Bye.